What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Devonne Foxworth podcast. Welcome back if you've already been here before, and welcome to the new viewers or listeners, whatever you think. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're doing, if you're in the car, you're dancing, you're driving, whatever. I just want to say welcome to y'all. Today, I'm doing it alone. So this podcast, we're really just talking about myself. And I think it's important to talk about me, and so that you guys can get to know me and know who I am, so that you can be a fan of mine. You can fuck with your boy. You know what I'm saying? We can blurt that out though. But I wanted to tell you guys how I actually got into tattooing, because I get that question so often. Like, I don't seem like someone that would be into tattoos, especially if you grew up with me or you knew me for a long time. I wasn't really like the most artistic person to the public. I was into sports. I was just a regular kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought drawing was soft. But I'm gonna just start in the beginning. So this is how I started tattooing. I was probably about 5 years old when I started drawing. Like, I think that's my first memory is drawing like a car with my dad. And then he was like, "Oh, draw Godzilla." And it's like a core memory of mine. And I don't know why, but I always felt like drawing was an escape for me. And then started getting a little older, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was still drawing, drew pictures every day, but I was into football, I was into basketball, just like other inner city kids. You know, I'm from Richmond, California, and it's known that a lot of athletes come out of Richmond, California. Like, everyone I went to school with was pretty good at sports. A lot of people got D1 scholarships. I'm not that athletic, but I didn't find that out till later. But so I would draw pictures of myself making plays in sports, and it just felt good to me. It actually felt better to me to do that than to actually play the sports. While my brothers and my stepdad was playing video games, I never really was into video games. I get a headache, and so I would draw. I would draw every single day with the most randomest things, Dragon Ball Z, whatever, anime. And then after I kind of got used to drawing a lot, I almost gained a love for it. I would say it would be like, that's where I felt comfortable. I didn't know this until now that I'm an adult. I can understand now, like, that's when I reverted back to feeling at home. Although there was a lot of stress, you know, my dad lived really far away. My stepdad, he would get sick and not sick and then sick. And, you know, my mom was working all the time. And it was a lot going on. I lived in a house with a lot of people. There was one bathroom. And I wouldn't necessarily say it was hard from my perspective, because I was just a kid. I didn't have bills. But from another perspective, it could have been hard. Like, to my parents, it was not, given things weren't easy. They had to work for everything. So with that skill set, with that interest, I would ask for like airbrush kits and all that good stuff, and they would really make it happen, and they would really encourage my artistic ability and show me different artists and stuff. And I kept doing it. I then got to be 17. So when I was 17, I had an art teacher, and she would be like, "Man, you're really good." And I was like, "Yeah, all right." There was other kids that was way better than me. "Yeah, all right. Anyways, you come to the game Friday, like, it's whatever." At that time, there was a kid at the school that started to do tattoos. I was senior in high school, and he was getting popping. He was tattooing all of my friends. And to me, I'm not going to lie, he was trash to me. Like, I don't want to say his name, but he know who he is. You feel me? Everybody know who he is. But bro was kind of trash to me. And it wasn't who you think it is. It wasn't Dave. Dave, it wasn't you, bro. You was actually nice, and you actually encouraged me. But it was another guy. And then after he started tattooing all my friends, I actually was low-key feeling like a hater. Like, I was hating because I knew my abilities. I knew what I can do. I knew I could draw better than him. And he had art class with me, and I would see them talk to him about tattoos. And I'm like, "Man, like, would y'all get tatted if I start doing tattoos?" And they were all like, "Yeah, like, I would." And so I did not start tattooing. I actually, I actually tried to go and I tried to go to Contra Costa and play football, and then I was in the locker room, and the dude was like, "Man, you better grow. You too big. You too small." At that time, I was like 180. Right now, I'm not 180, but he was like, "You too small. You better get big." And I was like, "Man, what are you? I'm bigger than you." And so, whatever. I just realized like I'm not an athlete. I knew that, and something in my heart made me back to what I felt comfortable with, and that's art. And so I then took some art classes. I I don't know how, but the little girl I was talking to, I kind of finessed her into getting me a tattoo kit for my cousin. And my cousin's hilarious because he was doing all the hood Olympics, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like selling pit bull puppies, weed, and trying to pimp. He was doing whatever he could, but he was doing tattoos too. And so little shorty, she bought me the little tattoo kit, and I'm like, bet, I'm about to tattoo. Like, bet, let me tattoo. So I'm tatting her, tatting my cousin, tatting her, and I'm doing trash work. And I just remember the feeling of this is really fun to do because I know I can get better. And that's what kind of encouraged me to keep going. It wasn't necessarily because I was good, it was because I had the potential to be better. So I would go to Barnes and Nobles and get some change out of like the couches, and then go buy like an Ink magazine and just go look at the tattoos, just look at them, and like really figure out how they did that. Because back then, to me, it just seemed so different. Like I couldn't understand how it was done, and it seemed so far fetched to be on that level. But I knew if I kept working, I can get to that level. So started tattooing all the people that I was growing up around, like a lot of people I play sports with, and those tats were trash. Like honestly, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, but I'm not sorry that like I did a bad job because y'all knew what y'all was paying for. Like y'all knew, bro. Like Larry, bro, like y'all knew that I wasn't him yet, but y'all still believed in me, and so I really appreciate that. So I had to just keep working, and unfortunately, with tattoos, there has to be a human for you to actually practice on. There has to be multiple humans. You have to try different skin textures, different skin tones, different weight variants, different people in general. And so getting that big bulk of the variety of people, tattooing all of them in a short amount of time, I would say this is about like 2012, 2013, I was just tatting. Like I would literally like, I would flirt with girls literally to get them tatted, like to tat them. Like it wouldn't be the opposite. I wouldn't be like, yo, I'm trying to talk to you so I can tat you. Like, nah, it was like that. I'm tripping. I really needed to get more clients. So whatever I needed to do to get more clients, I would do it. I'll go drive to people's houses in the trenches. There'll be pit bull puppies, and it was just crazy. It was crazy scenes that I was tattooing in. I don't smoke weed, but it'll be hella weed in there. My eyes burning, and it's crazy to tattoo in those environments. But now looking back, now I feel comfortable in other environments, to where not like now. I learned from there is like no matter what, you still have to keep your professionalism and hold your ground and create boundaries with your clients to where they can now respect you for what you do and your art. And so I learned a lot from that era of tattooing in the beginning. So I tried to do an apprenticeship. So before I did an apprenticeship, I was doing trash tattoos on all like my friends and like the little homies around, whatever. And then I started tattooing and then I was like, I'm not good. I realized, okay, I'm trash. I'm really not getting better. I'm really messing people up. I remember it was one point where I like wiped a girl after her tattoo, and she's like screaming, and I wiped her tattoo with alcohol because I thought that's how you clean it. It was crazy, but I learned. I came a long way from that. shorty, hey, if you seeing this, bro, like, hit me up. I got you, like, for real. Like, don't be telling people I'm like that, 'cause I'm not like that no more. That was a long time ago. But so Pete, so then after I did that, I then realized I need to go get an apprenticeship. And at this time, for those that don't know, at this time, there wasn't YouTube. There was like 4 YouTube videos about how to tattoo, and it was like a dude with doing like an eagle on a calf, and then there was like Franco Vescovi doing a portrait, and then I want to say there was a Jeff Gogwe like tape, like CD or DVD that you can buy, and there wasn't that many things. It was only a couple people, so I needed an apprenticeship. I went to a tattoo shop that was local in my area in Richmond, California, and it was really different back then. It was ran by some people that weren't necessarily like doing tattoos, but more into the money and more into the hustle bustle of it. And there was a lot of like unprofessional things going on there, but there were some people there that were professional. And so fortunately, I got lucky and got accepted to have an apprenticeship with a guy named Jonathan. And Jonathan, he was from Mexico, or he is from Mexico. He's still alive, like he's still around, and he's actually really good. You should check him out. But Jonathan was the first artist to really say, yo, like, don't do that. Let me show you how to do this. No, you can't do that. I'm gonna show you. He showed me how to do lines. He showed me how to clean. Most importantly, he really showed me how to clean everything. He showed me how to discuss with your clients and how to give what you want to do with your clients. But unfortunately, I didn't get enough time there to learn more of the artistic side. It was mainly about like the setup, the breakdown, the cleaning, and the professionalism of it, like the paperwork and stuff. I learned a lot of that from there. And so I got fired from my apprenticeship. I was going through a lot, and so I wasn't able to be there as much as other people. And that was like a controversy, whatever. I said something crazy to somebody, and it was whatever. They used to talk a lot of stuff about me, and I speak up. You know what I'm saying? So those who know, yeah. But that was a blessing in disguise. So after I got fired, that day I got fired, one of my friends that I never met before was opening up a shop in Sacramento. So I was living in the Bay Area, and that lady was opening a shop in Sac. So for those who aren't familiar with the area, that's probably like 100 miles away. So an hour drive, maybe hour and a half. So it wasn't so far to where it was out of the realm of me doing it, but it was also out of my comfort zone because I wasn't around the people I grew up with. So I didn't have clients out there. I didn't have too many friends out there. I just was thrown out there, and I had to make it happen. So I got to meet her. She was so cool. Like, the owner of that shop, her name is Lady Giggers. Shout out to Lady Giggers. She opened her shop called Polka Dots, and she just needed artists. She didn't really care if I was good or not. She just needed artists. So I was like, I mean, I'll do that too. So, like, I'll slide. And I got there, and first thing she was doing was she was still remodeling the shop. And I got there, and I helped her remodel a little bit, and then it was a few days before the grand opening, and then the grand opening came, and hella people popped out. I didn't realize how popular this girl was and how dedicated she was and how hardworking she was. But those days leading up to that grand opening, she was really working. She was on the floors, putting tile down. She was really doing her thing, painting walls, and she saved a lot of money to make this happen. And I saw it. I saw, like, okay, you can do this. She wasn't necessarily an artist, but I learned a lot from the business aspect of tattooing. It's like, oh, she has a new car. Oh, she has her own place. Oh, she's doing this. And I'm like, dang, tattoos pay for this? And she's like, no, I do piercings. I'm like, piercings pay for this? Like, that's crazy. You not stripping? Like, you ain't on a ball at night. Like, I don't see how you making this money, because I haven't been around artists that made enough money to live, like, kind of comfortably. And so she put me on game. We went to the grand opening, and then that grand opening, the health department came and was like, y'all can't be here, and shut us down from the grand opening. So it was grand opening, grand closing. And for me, I moved all the way from the Bay Area, all the way to Sacramento. I'm sleeping on Lady Gig's couch. My car's in the shop, but I'm telling girls it's in the shop. They're not believing I got a car. So I'm like, dang, I look bad. Like, I'm doing bad. I'm wearing these same Vans or these same Forces every day, or whatever shoes I was wearing at that time. You feel me? I was just wearing the same stuff because I was living out a backpack. You feel me? Like, I really wasn't, like, I didn't have a real place. You know what I'm saying? I was like a little bit everywhere. So, but I made it look fly. I would still talk to little chicks here and there, and like sleep at their spot. It's whatever, you know what I'm saying? The real ones know. The real ones know. And so from that, we then go immediately from the car, and then from that, we get in the car. She's like, yo, let's go find another spot. And I'm like, what? Like, you just put all your money on this. Like, what you mean go find another spot? And the way, how resilient she was, I respected so much, because she was like, let's go find another spot right now. And so we rode around Sacramento, like, right now, like, at that time, rode around Sac. And we went to a bunch of different parks, but we stopped in Oak Park. And for those who are new to Sacramento, Oak Park was not like how it is today. So in 2023, Oak Park is the hipstery area. The houses are expensive now. It's like urban. It's really funky. They got like live music here and there at this place. There's fixins. Like, it's a real cool spot to go to now. But back then, I kid you not, we was out there talking to the like crackheads every day. Like, what's up, bro? Like, we was really tapped in. They knew it was the trenches. Like, it was really Oak Park still. It was before the developers came. Forgot the mayor's name. He played for the Kings, but he did a lot of work in Oak Park. And now Oak Park is amazing, but back then it wasn't like that. So she like, hey, this is a good price. Let's do this. And she was looking in there. We were looking in there, and she was like, we just got to do the floors. We got to do this, that. And I'm like, all right. I got a cousin. We call my cousin. He did the floors real quick. Did it in like a day. And then we knocked down a wall and then painted the wall. And then we're back at it in like a week, like from the grand opening and closing. And a week later, we have another grand opening because her resilience. And me, from my perspective, I'm looking at that like, okay, you can't quit. I'm learning little keys here and there, like you can't give up. There's always going to be like hurdles, so you're going to have to hit that hurdle and then bounce back. But it's always going to be hurdles, so get used to it. Be able to change, be like water, just like Bruce Lee said. You got to just adapt and move. So we did that. We got the spot. In there, it's popping. She's hella popular. And I was just doing all names and infinity symbols and like all the little tattoos that, you know, they came from piercings. I'm like, forget it, girl, let's go get a tattoo. And it's like all the little ones. And then it was me and like two other girls, but then the one other girl quit. And so it was like just me doing all like little tattoos, bro. I swear to God, I was doing all the little tattoos. But luckily, like I want to say a year later, she hires this young boy, this young skinny kid named Eyeshine. And so he was around my age. He's around my age. And we just hit it off. It was really cool. And I could see the ambition in his eyes, and he could see the ambition in my eyes. And we both would sit there and study. And we would piece up on like tutorials online to learn like tattoo skills. From that, it established like, okay, you can get better. But at that time, not too many artists had specific styles like how it is now. Every artist now is like a specialist in a way. So back then, it was about just being good at everything, or mid at everything. To me, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, not mid, I was trash. But I was still like trying my best. We making $400 a month, trying my best. But it was all good. I was getting a lot of reps in. So we decided, we're gonna do black and gray, and we'll just focus on getting better at black and gray. And so I would practice on iShine. He'll practice on me. I'll practice on him. He'll practice on me. And then we eventually got to a point to where now we're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Now we have a direction. Now we're gonna go that direction, and we're gonna hone in on this skill and figure out this style. So once we started deciding we wanted to do black and gray, I start seeking out like mentors, people that I wanted to be like, and I would DM all the artists I was a fan of, like all of them, all the big name artists, all the famous artists, all the local artists. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter how many followers they had. If I liked their work, I would DM them, ask them questions. I would send them my materials and be like, "What do you use? Like, how do you use this? What voltage are you using?" And those ones, there was only a few that would reply back to me and give me tangible advice that I could really use. And then it narrowed down to like a couple. Like now it was two people, because I would ask questions and then another layer of questions and then another layer of questions. And only a few people would get that deep in responding to me. And there was a guy back in the Bay Area, and he was the best dude in the Bay. Like if you looked on Yelp, he had the best shop in the Bay. He tattooed all my friends' big homies, not even my friends. He tattooed my friends like I can't afford them. They say dads. He tattooing like real, like ball players, all the rappers out there. You know what I'm saying? Like he was going crazy. And so I seen his work, and I was like, man, I want to get like him. So one day I went out there just to watch him tattoo. He was tattooing one of my friends, and I went to go see him tattoo, and his name is Alex. I went to go watch bro tat, and I was like, God, he's like a wizard. Like to me, I've never seen a pro tattoo artist, like a professional artist, someone that actually does this like for real at a high level. Like he's doing great. He has clients. He knows what he's doing. He's not trying to figure things out. And at that time, I was trying to figure out every tattoo. Like it was like a puzzle to me, and I would never finish the puzzle and get it right. And I'm watching him, and just from going to see him in that time, in that small amount of time, maybe those 4 hours that he was tattooing, I learned like 4 years worth of knowledge. And this is a sidebar. This is like something that I feel like if you're not just an artist, but you can benefit from this, is like seeking a mentor, seeking somebody that's good at what they do, and you want to be like them, go see them, go hang out with them, go bring them lunch. Like just do whatever you got to do to be around that environment, and it's going to be caught. Like more is caught than taught. You feel me? So like you got to like get around that energy, and you'll catch it, and you'll see the nuances. That's really hard. A lot of people can't teach well, so it's really hard for people to put in words these subtle nuances that people are doing to make their things look incredible, or whatever they do, whether it's photography, music, dance, doesn't matter. You'll see the subtle nuances, and you'll see how different it is than you, and you'll move in that motion. So, saw him tattoo. When I went there, he was cool. Bro was cool. Like, he was just a really solid dude. And then he had another dude there, dude named Paper. Paper was tight. I'm looking at him like, gosh, so wait, you don't use a stencil, bro? You just draw everything on there? And he was like, yeah, Sharpie gang. And he was really using just a Sharpie in his machine. He would go crazy, like people getting portraits. It was tight. And so I was like, man, I got to be there. And he invited me to come tattoo a couple times. And then I brought iShine the next time. He invited him to come tattoo. So we both were tattooing there for a minute. And then iShine, I guess it was different for him. He wanted to be in his area, so he ended up not coming. So I stayed. I'm from the Bay. You know what I'm saying? I got to be with my peoples. I felt more comfortable in the Bay anyways. I already had clientele. Like now that I'm like going to be good, I'm going to have clientele. So Alex then taught me how to do portraits better. He taught me how to do color better. He taught me actually how to run a line. And I've been tattooing about 2 years at this point, and I still didn't know how to do a line. And so he taught me how to do that. And so then from there, Under Ink, it was called Under Ink. Under Ink like shut down. It was like health department stuff. Not that we was dirty, but it was just money. They just wanted money. They were trying to play us. They acted like we didn't pay them. We paid them, and then they lost the records, so we need to pay them again. Those who know about that, y'all know about that. And so then, after that, I had to figure out things on my own. So I went and got my own studio. I had my own studio in Berkeley for about a year, maybe 2 years, and it was really cool. I got a really cool experience. I had a cool view. I had brought all my friends over. They would come and we would just vibe out, they would put music on. We would do cool tattoos, but I still felt like this isn't my finish line. It wasn't my goal. I still feel like I can learn more, so I went to art school. I went to Academy of Art. I wanted to learn how to draw better. And if I could draw better, I could tattoo better. So after I went to Academy of Art, took classes there. I was trash, found out I was trash, but I learned a lot and I got better at knowing how to do portraits and knowing how to do realism. And that really changed the game. Really changed the game for me. Some stuff happened with my vision after that for a little bit. And so I was tattooing, but I didn't know I was tattooing at a certain level. Not the level that I wanted to, but I thought I was. Thought I was tattooing at a higher level, but I was really like, I was mid, bro. Like, I was cool, but because I knew how to draw, but like I was mid. And then I got surgeries, and then I really got to implement the skills that I learned through the past years after I got those surgeries. And then now I'm able to make tattoos that I really enjoy, and people are starting to enjoy, and the world's starting to enjoy. And it's really cool to me that everything can change. Your whole situation can change just by sticking to one thing. Like if you're a chef and you're flipping burgers at McDonald's, but like you want to be a gourmet 5 Michelin star chef, you can do that. Like it's possible. And so I'm just here to motivate. I know this was a long one, and it's probably pretty boring if you're not really into me, you know what I'm saying? But if you're into your boy, this is probably cool, you feel me? Follow me on Instagram, subscribe. If you want to hear more stories about this and more like nuances, like little weird things that happened in my career, like the craziest tattoos that I've done, or like the craziest client interaction that I've had, or like my worst tattoo or my worst tattoo mistake, because I had a lot of mistakes. I've done this for a long time. I had a lot of mistakes. Yeah, comment that. Let me know. I'll do a video. I'm not ashamed of my game. You feel me? Like I stand behind everything I do. So subscribe, follow me, and we out. This is Devonne Foxworth Podcast.